Willie D Live.
Oh, shucky ducky. We got one for you right here, man. This is a big one right here, fam. Boom! Yeah. You see that dude right there on the left? That's Clayton Howard. Yeah. And Clayton Howard is suing Cassie. Clayton wants his bag, man. Clayton wants his money. Clayton say, yeah, man, she did me dirty and I want to get paid. Yeah. And then you got people out there that are saying, hey, man, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Cassie is currently a co-defendant in a civil lawsuit filed by former male escort Clayton Howard, who claims she and Sean Diddy Combs trafficked him and abused him. The lawsuit against Cassie as follows. Clayton Howard filed the lawsuit in July 2025, naming both Diddy and Cassie as defendants. Here are the allegations. Clayton, who claims he worked for the couple for about 5 years, alleges he was drugged, manipulated, and forced to participate in sexual encounters for their entertainment. He also claims Cassie forced him to have unprotected sex, which resulted in him contracting an STD and aborting his child without his consent. Woo, man. Not Cassie, not sweet, innocent Cassie. No way possible. You got people that are saying, nah, I don't believe him. Look how he looks. They would have never done that with him. But he got receipts. Clayton said he got receipts. Clayton said he got receipts, man. And he wants his day in court. He wants his day in court with Cassie. And I guess he's going to want his day in court eventually with Diddy when Diddy gets out. But right now, his focus is solely on Cassie. Now, what damages are being sought? Well, Clayton is seeking compensation for physical and psychological harm, medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering. Yeah. This lawsuit was filed shortly after Diddy's criminal trial, where Cassie testified against her former partner. Okay, so before being sued herself, Cassie filed a high-profile lawsuit against Sean Combs in November 2023, accusing him of a decade of RAPE, physical abuse, and sex trafficking. They settled for $20 million. And this, family, was just one day after the lawsuit was filed, and it was said to be in an undisclosed amount, but we know now that that amount was $20 million. She was originally asking for $30 million. So what is the impact of the lawsuit? Well, her lawsuit was a key factor that led to the federal investigation and subsequent criminal charges against Diddy. She later testified about her experiences with the abuse during Diddy's sex trafficking trial. Now, here's the case. If what's good for the goose is good for the gander, will Cassie be now charged? Will she now be charged? You know, her allegations against Diddy is what opened up the Pandora box for the feds to come in and get Diddy. Will Clayton Howard's revelations against Cassie, these charges against Cassie, will it spur the proper authorities to investigate Cassie and bring her to justice finally? Because you know she was a co-conspirator. You know, if Diddy did anything wrong and Cassie was with him, well, Cassie is also responsible. She's also part of the criminal enterprise. So what I want to know, will Cassie now be charged? Will the DOJ have the same energy for Cassie as they had for Diddy? Homie, don't think so. Homie, don't think so. I do not believe that they're going to come for Cassie. I think she signed one of those deals where she could never be charged in the future for anything related to Diddy. That's, if I was a lawyer, that's what I would have advised. Not only do I have immunity for this particular case, for anything that's remotely related to this case, I will not be charged in the future, or my client would not be charged in the future. You say anything she wants, anybody come with any type of charges in the future, she will not be charged. That's the deal I would have made for my client. I don't know if she made that deal, but I don't believe that they'll come for Cassie. I think Cassie is going to drive off into the sunset with her $30 million. Well, I guess she didn't get the whole 30, but she'll get at least maybe 60% of that money. So, what is that? There's somewhere in between 20 million, somewhere around 20. Let's see, 15, 17 million, something like that. 17.5, something like that. But yeah, after she break bread with the lawyers, she probably out of that 30 million left with about 17 million. Yeah, 17 million, 20 million, somewhere between 17 and 20 million. Not a bad day's work. Didn't take long once she got to the money though. Didn't take long at all. She got that suit, did it in one day, stroked the check for 20 million, and the hotel turned around and gave her 10 million for being assaulted on their premises. Not bad. But here's the deal. Will Clayton Howard be compensated for his pain and suffering? Because I know a lot of y'all like to talk about how Cassie suffered. Well, this guy suffered too. He said he suffered. And another thing is this, fam. Clayton said, man, you know, I wasn't like just out there willy-nilly. I had respect for my body. I wasn't just sleeping with a bunch of different women, and I wasn't just having unprotected sex. Clayton thought that he was the only one. Clayton thought he was the only one. According to Clayton, he thought he was the only one. He didn't know Cassie was flipping all these dudes. He didn't know that every weekend it was a freak off. He didn't know. He thought he was somebody. He thought he was something special. And he didn't know that, Cassie, she didn't care about, well, I guess I won't say that, but she didn't care about all of that. Cassie was trying to get her rocks off, getting her groove on. A lot of people try to say she was just doing it for Diddy, but no, as I said before, she had to get some pleasure out of that after 10 years of that, 10 straight years of that. It's no way possible she did that, and she's Diddy's main girl, and she did that only for Diddy. No way possible. There's too many women that's willing to do it without all of those stipulations. It's no way possible she didn't get some enjoyment out of it. And turns out in the courtroom, by her own admission, she did get some pleasure out of it. So Cassie has suffered a new legal setback after a judge ruled that she has been evading service to Clayton Howard's freak-off lawsuit. She's now officially considered unreachable by federal court, clearing the way for Clayton to serve her through alternative means. Yeah. So Clayton has been dodging, Cassie has been dodging Clayton's lawsuit. The judge said, no, 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 no. Come on with it. Clayton said, man, yeah, man, she had my baby. I had unprotected sex with her. She got pregnant. She aborted the baby without my knowledge. This has ruined my reputation. I don't know how much of that gonna go, how much of that will fly, because Clayton, you're a whole prostitute out here, bro. Hey, I gotta call a strike a ball about. I'm not a fan of Cassie, but I gotta call a strike a ball about. You're a prostitute, bro. You're a prostitute. You want me to believe that you were loyal to somebody, that you wasn't slanging it everywhere, and anybody who could pay for it, anybody willing to pay for it? You telling me you wasn't slanging it to him? You was just saying like, no, I'm with Cassie now, so I'm not gonna rent it out. I'm not gonna rent out the meat this week. Rent out the meat. Yeah. So Buddy trying to get his payday. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. He trying to get his money, like Cassie got her money, and like a few other people got their money. He trying to get his money. So I can't blame him. Hey man, nothing beat a failure but a try. She's sitting over there. She got the money. She got 20 million. At least she got at least 17 million when she spent a little of it. But she probably sitting on at least 10 more. She probably got at least 10 million hanging around. So yeah, go get that money, man. Go get some of that money. Wouldn't it be poetic justice if he was able to sue Cassie in excess of what she has currently on her? What if he was able to come back and get a $30 million judgment? The same amount that she sued Diddy for, or the same amount that she ended up in judgments. She ended up with in judgments, 30 million. What if she's able to do that? What if he's able to successfully win a $30 million judgment? Cassie's gonna have to get back out there. Old Buddy gonna have to get back to training. Yeah, 30 million. Everybody is making money off this scheme. And Clayton Howard said, man, why not me? Why not me? Cassie has been suing for participating in illegal acts. She's been suing. She got paid for participating in illegal acts. She got paid. A lot of people don't like this dude, though. They don't like Clayton. I don't know what it is, but they don't like Clayton. They don't like him. For some reason, they do not like him. And they say a lot of nasty things about it. Mainly women, though. It's mainly women. Mainly women are saying bad things about him. So I'm assuming that these same women was probably saying nice things about Cassie. I don't see how you can say so many nice things about Cassie. Yeah, Diddy got to her when she was young, but at some point, she wasn't so young and innocent. At some point, she became an accomplice. Think about what I'm saying, fam. How forgiving would you be of a person who was manipulated by an older person, right? Let's say a person was manipulated by an older person, and that older person got them to break into people's homes and essay them. Let's say that their motive was to was to break into people's homes, rob them of their jewelry and money, and essay them, right? And let's say they did it the first time, okay, boom. And let's say the person did it 5 more times, and then maybe 20, maybe 30 times. And each time they was with that person. And then let's just say at some point they have such a relationship whereas this person can now come and go as they choose. They can do whatever they want to do. They don't have to be with this other person that manipulated them. They can go and commit the acts by themselves or with others. And then next thing you know, everybody get busted. And the person who continued these acts at their own free will, maybe it was at the behest of that person, but still it was at their own free will, and they were grown. Do that person get to walk scot-free as long as they point to the other person? Or do they have to pay for any of those crimes they committed while they were doing what they were doing? Do they pay for any of that? Or they get to just walk scot-free? How does that go? I think it sets a horrible precedent. I think it sets a horrible precedent, because that means everybody out there who decides that you want to commit a crime, you want to get involved in a criminal enterprise. That means you can be involved in a criminal enterprise. And as long as you ain't number one, if something go bad, you can point at number one and you go home. They go to jail. And you got all that criminal history on your record. You got blood on your hands. But because you pointed at number one, you go home. Nah, fam. Now there has to be some repercussions.